Premier says she's striking a post-mortem election panel to give Albertans the chance to raise any issues they might want to put to a referendum. It comes as new polling puts Alberta at odds with nearly the rest of Canada politically as Canadians prepare to head to vote in the upcoming federal election. As CTV's Shaylan Skalski explains, some question if the political polarization could be sparking Western alienation.
There is a process for individuals to put those questions forward so that every Albertan can have a say.
Responding to a question on support for separation, Alberta's Premier says she is looking to hear from all Albertans post-election, giving voters a chance to raise any issue, including leaving Canada.
Calling it now the What's Next panel. We just want to go around the province, see how people are feeling, and see if there are any other referendum issues that they want us to put on the table.
An idea that might sound familiar.
Albertans have been working for Ottawa for too long. It's time for Ottawa to start working for us.
In 2019, then Premier Jason Kenney launched a 9-person fair deal panel to get Alberta a better deal within Canada. Smith's panel proposal comes within weeks of her threat of an unprecedented national unity crisis if the next PM doesn't meet her 9 demands within 6 months.
Articulated sentiments of most Albertans. Easterners just don't get it.
Albertan sentiments will be articulated in the upcoming election. Recent polling puts our province at odds with most of the country, showing Conservatives with 53% support on the prairies versus 36% across the rest of Canada, with Mark Carney leading across Canada as preferred PM with 47%. That support drops down to 29% in our region.
We're fully aware that we have been treated very badly by Laurentian Canada since before we were even provinces. So it's not alienation, it's just there's only so much you can take. There's only so much you can take. There's only so much you can take.
It would appear as though Albertans have reached a boiling point with the federal government of Canada, whereby they can no longer see eye to eye with the current trajectory of the governance and management of this great nation, and they want to have a clear-cut separation from Canada. Is this all Albertans? Of course not. But is it a strong majority that is forming? I believe there is. Certain polls will tell you that there is about 40 to 45% of the population that want independence in some form or fashion. But mind you, this is 40 to 45% of the population who want independence without there being a real formal campaign by the secessionists. There is several secessionists right now that have very strong points, that are very much opposed to Parliament, and they've become very disenfranchised with either the Liberals or Conservatives winning. It's not going to make much of a difference. These individuals absolutely want Alberta to separate from Canada by any means necessary.
I would say, looking at this as a political scientist, if Mark Carney is elected, Alberta independence becomes a virtual certainty. If Pierre Poilievre is elected, it might be a tougher battle because people think that something can be negotiated. Hello everyone. I would like to thank everybody for coming out today to join us for this update on the Alberta Independence or Commonwealth of Alberta delegation to Washington project. As many of you know, Alberta's relationship with Canada over the last number of years has become entirely dysfunctional, with governments in Ottawa thinking that they should shut down the economy of the province of Alberta at whim, imposing taxes on people on the misguided thought that somehow putting punitive taxes on working people trying to pay for fuel to get to work somehow is going to change the weather. This is the level of idiocy that we've been dealing with as Albertans in trying to make a living, take care of our families, and produce the energy that this entire continent needs to thrive and survive. So after the past decade of economic devastation visited on this province by countless useless, ridiculous regulations by a government in Ottawa that doesn't even understand where its energy has come from, people in Alberta have decided that the time is now to demand a referendum in 2025 to have citizens of Alberta exercise their free will and free choice as to whether or not we are going to continue to remain in Canada or become an independent nation state.
How are they going to do it? Well, Canada is a confederation, meaning that there is a team of countries or provinces that have consolidated their power into one nation state in order to have success at achieving a united goal. But when you have frustration at the levels that they have now reached with Albertans to the federal government, you now have a situation where during the next federal election, which is due April 28th, on that election ballot could also be a referendum where Albertans can decide the fate of the province of Alberta. In terms of this potentially happening, now would be the opportune time to make this a reality. One reason is because Donald Trump has said very frequently that he wants to annex Canada. Now, if Alberta were to separate, it would need access to the U.S. market, which is directly south of it, and it would need American protection from any potential conflicts. Two, Danielle Smith seems to be very close with President Trump. In fact, out of all the leaders in Canada, she was the only one of note that was invited to Donald Trump's inauguration when he became president of the United States. In fact, he invited her personally. He even invited her to his palace in Mar-a-Lago in Florida.
Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is in Florida at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. The Premier's office had previously said that Smith would be on a family vacation from January 7th to January 17th. Saturday night, Smith was spotted on social media at Mar-a-Lago. Smith herself took to social media to post photos with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, saying she did visit Mar-a-Lago Saturday night and Trump's golf course on Sunday morning. She also released a statement saying, in part, "We had a friendly and constructive conversation during which I emphasized the mutual importance of the U.S.-Canadian energy relationship and specifically how hundreds of thousands of American jobs are supported by energy exports from Alberta. I was also able to have similar discussions with several key allies of the incoming administration and was encouraged to hear their support for a strong energy and security relationship with Canada."
And we know Danielle Smith is not only the Premier of Alberta, but she is also sympathetic to many voices that is growing stronger and more powerful in Alberta that are seeking independence from Canada.
The Prime Minister's words sounded kind of nice yesterday until I looked at my phone right after the meeting with him and found out that his new Environment Minister had just told media on the other side of the country that the federal Liberals would be keeping the emissions cap in place.
The apparent contradiction adds weight to the Premier's threat of an unprecedented national unity crisis if the next federal government doesn't address her demands. All 9 would benefit the oil and gas industry in various ways.
I really believe that if the Liberals were to win again, despite the fact that the last almost 10 years that they've ran the country was deplorable by increasing immigration to unreasonable levels, cost of food, cost of living, cost of gas, lower wages while inflation makes everything higher priced, excessive taxation. I mean, the Liberals have done a great job at destroying Canada. And in this particular time, there's a very strong chance that this continued mismanagement of Canada will ultimately lead to disunity and a potential break of not just Alberta, but several provinces, particularly in the West, that tend to be more conservative. Now, in the past, conservative leaders, if they won, were able to subdue these rumblings of independence and successionist movements, because the Conservatives tend to cater towards conservative constituents that are west of Canada. But something is very interesting about this time around. It would appear as though the leaders of this new successionist movement in Alberta, they don't really care whether or not the Liberals or Conservatives win. They ultimately want independence. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for sticking around and partaking in thought sharing of my ideas, opinions, and beliefs on the topic at hand. I just want to say I appreciate everybody who's partaking on this journey with me. And if you liked the video, if you found value in it, please go ahead, like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Also, if you felt as though you had different opinions or you had a different idea on where the video should go, or if you have any suggestions on other topics that you want to hear, please go ahead and comment in the comment section as well. At the end of the day, I value everybody's opinion, and I would love to banter with every one of y'all in the comment section. Thank you so much, and bye for now.